It's just all about love and life and living in freedom. That's what it's all about for me now.
Welcome to the Rich Spinster podcast. This is Alexis, and there are so many things that I want to touch on this week because one thing about it, America, America is giving me a lot to talk about. A lot. So let's jump right into it. The first thing that I'm thinking about is the controversy around what happened in Venezuela with the United States government blowing up a boat that supposedly had drugs on it. And that boat was somehow an imminent threat to the United States, so they had to blow it up. And then they turned around and killed the survivors. Now, that was something that the administration was celebrating until they realized that that wasn't going over too well because it is actually a war crime. And I see the way that people are glossing over this idea of war crimes, and it shouldn't be glossed over. It is the golden rule. And although this administration has the golden rule confused with the golden shower, it does not erase the fact that this was murder. And that is not my opinion. That is the opinion of military experts and people who have covered the military for many years. This was a war crime. And we will see how this plays out. I, for one, am not a believer of accountability for this administration because I really haven't seen it yet. Not in the ways in which it needs to happen. This was a war crime. And I am curious to see how this war crime will play out. I think leading our military is the most important job in the country. It should be held by somebody who is serious, somebody who has honor. And I actually blame this on the senators who confirmed this motherfucker in the first place. One thing about Pete Hegseth, though, I wanted to say is like, I have never seen someone with a face that I've hated more. I hate Pete Hegseth's face more than I hate Donald Trump's face. I really do. Pete Hegseth, he's up there with Cuntzilla Caroline Levitt for me because there's something about his face. It's the way he stands, like he's a fucking GI Joe doll. It's the hair gel. It's everything about him says asshole. And trust me, you guys, I know an asshole when I see one. There is a person that I used to work with, this guy that I used to work with, and the moment I met him, I knew he was an asshole. I knew it by the way he held his cup. Okay, he held his cup in a very weird way. Instead of holding his mug by the handle, he held it on top. What kind of asshole holds his mug with his hands across the top of the why are you holding the mug that way? And standing in a room in front of people, giving a presentation, he held his mug like an asshole. And guess what? As I got to know him, he was an asshole. Pete Hegseth, he is the asshole of assholes. Every single person surrounding Donald Trump is a bad human being. Everyone. There is no good among them. Unless someone in the administration is there and pretending to be a part of this shit just to protect the rest of us from the bullshit that could really go down, unless we have like an operative in there doing that, then every single person around Donald Trump ain't shit. Like, I am not a person who goes around who says, like, I hate people, but these motherfuckers around Donald Trump, they're all bad people. Did you guys see the press conference where Cuntzilla Caroline Levitt was trying to defend Hegseth's actions? Did y'all see? That was the first time that I had any inclination that she was an actual human being because it's like I could see the redness coming to her skin. I could see the fear in her eyes. I could see this look that said, "Help, I'm drowning here." And I was watching because I wanted the bitch to drown. These are real human lives that we're talking about. These are real people. with families. People who may, if there were even drugs on the boat, people who may have been forced to be on that boat because that's how it happens there. No big drug smuggler is actually on boats that smuggle drugs. And to hear this narrative coming from the White House, and then at the same time, the White House releasing one of the most notorious drug traffickers in the world, pardoning him, this White House is not serious. The only thing that they're serious about is their racism and their money. And when I say their money, I mean their money, not your money, because listen, Trump told y'all this week that affordability is a Democratic hoax. He said, don't believe your bank account. Don't believe what you see at the grocery store. I'm telling you that everything's affordable. I'm telling you that this economy is the strongest economy ever. He wants y'all to believe that the price of groceries, they haven't gone up. He wants you to believe that the price of your utilities have not gone up. He wants you to believe everything he tells you. It doesn't matter that you're spending more at the grocery store. No, the fuck you're not. Why? Because Trump said so. What? Y'all? Y'all, this man is not serious. He is not serious. And still, like 30% of America thinks he's serious. And you know what, you guys? It is clear that Donald Trump is actually not running this administration. I don't know who's running it, but whoever is running it is a motherfucker that we should all be concerned about because this man can't even keep his eyes open for meetings anymore. He's walking in odd ways, holding his body in odd ways. It's clear he's receiving some sort of treatment based on what his hands look like. He looks like he needs a 24-hour aide with him. Trump ain't running shit, but his shoe's over. Trump is doing nothing but being the figurehead for fuck shit. It's clear that he is in the throes of cognitive decline. And I don't understand this. You know how Trump tells people, don't believe what the fuck you know, believe what the fuck I tell you, right? I don't understand how people are not looking at him and being concerned. Y'all not looking at him. How would you feel if you went onto a flight and you were being greeted by the pilot and this motherfucker was blind? He's the pilot. He's got a co-pilot, but you didn't see him. All you know is that the pilot is blind. There are people who would happily get their ass on the plane and sit the fuck down, buckle up, and wait for the flight attendant to come through with some ginger ale. I want to get off the plane. I'm off the plane. That's what we're dealing with. We're up in the air and the pilot has no vision. Meanwhile, you want to know, can you get a coffee with Bailey's? I don't understand that sort of delusion. To allow people to feed you bullshit and you just swallow without gagging. It's the lack of gagging for me. Yeah, no dry heaving, no nothing. They want people to actually not be informed. They want people to get caught up in emotion so that they don't dig into fact. They want people to be ignorant about policy and all of those things. They want people to actually think they're all corrupt, so it doesn't matter who you vote for in the first place, because that allows for them to stay in power and for others to be disengaged. And I think it's just important for all of us when we are talking to people to share the knowledge that we know. I'm not talking about arguing with people online because that is pointless. I would spend no time arguing with people online because most of them are bots anyway. As we see, most of them are bots that Elon paid for. But if you know something and you know it to be true, you know it to be fact, and that you have someone who is willing to listen, give that person some of the knowledge that you have, because that is enriching their lives. It's enriching you, but it is also allowing them to make better decisions for themselves. I get really irritated with people who shame people who don't know. because not everybody is educated. And certainly not everybody is educated about every subject matter. And so instead of shaming people who don't know, instead of insulting people who may not have the level of education that you have, why not take some of that education and share it to whatever listening ear? Because it matters. And if this country is to survive MAGA, it has to start with an educated populace who's awake. So, yeah, we still ain't seen the Epstein files. Will we ever see the files? I don't know. I don't know. But every day, I'm like, where are those goddamn files? Where are the Epstein files? You know, one thing that is also just extremely puzzling to me, and one thing that saddens me, frankly, is just how many people, how easily people fall in line behind bullshit. A lot of these elected officials, they know this is bullshit and they're towing the line anyway. People have no motherfucking integrity. It's sad, but it's telling. And honestly, more and more, I'm realizing just how wealthy you are if you are a person of integrity, how you own your own soul when so many people have sold theirs. If you own your own soul, you are rich, you are wealthy. Because so many of these motherfuckers, not only are they up for sale, their wives and children, everybody that they say they love, including their country, is up for sale. Hypocrisy of this fucking democracy. I don't understand how this man has not been cursed out more in his life. I'm not surprised at the whole when he used the R word at Governor Tim Walz. I wasn't surprised at that because remember, he mocked a disabled reporter. I haven't seen anything from this man that points to him being a decent person. And mind you, I'm not a person that believes that everybody is just one thing. We all have good and bad sides to us. We all have things that we have to work on character wise, but not him. He is a piece of shit. And I'm sure his mother knew he was a piece of shit when she looked at him in that damn crib. Why she didn't handle that then, I do not know. Because I'm telling you the truth. Parents, this is a question for parents because I'm not a parent, so I don't know these things. Do you know when your kids aren't shit? That is a legitimate question. Do parents out there, I know you love your children, many of you. I know you love them. But can you look at your child and know that your child ain't shit? Like, this is just not a good person. This is a selfish motherfucker that I'm raising. When this one grows up, this one's going to be a serial killer, perhaps. When you see your child, blowing up lizards outside or something like that, does something happen to your soul and you know it, but you wouldn't dare utter those words to anyone else, but inside you say, this kid ain't shit. Do you whisper it to yourself? I want to know, do you know if your kid ain't shit? Because I'm trying to figure out, did Mary Trump look at his ass in the crib and know that motherfucker wasn't shit? Mary, did you know? That is a question that I have for parents. Are parents just completely blinded by love and you just can't see the truth of your child? You think that your child is the smartest, is the most beautiful, is the most loving. Is that what happens? Is that kind of delusional go hand in hand with parenting? Or do you look at that motherfucker and say, you know what? Don't leave your animals around him. Do you know in your soul? Because I'm trying to figure out what Mary Trump was thinking when she was nursing this bitch. Mary, did you know? Because I'm curious. So, getting off of Trump, the first thing is, have you all seen the Diddy documentary on Netflix that I think it was produced by 50 Cent? Another example of how when you don't check a monster, that monster grows out of control. When I watched that documentary, I was utterly confused. Okay? Diddy had his mouth hanging open almost the entire documentary. I guess I never really looked at him. I didn't really realize that he couldn't close his mouth. No man who can't even close his mouth can tell me what to do with mine, okay? I had so many questions for the people that just fell in line, for the people that knew that he was a bad person and they still called him friend. Like, people have some weird ideas of friendship. They will, or maybe it's just me, I just can't roll with anybody. So I don't understand watching your friend or knowing your friend is beating a woman and y'all are still cool. That he has sexually assaulted people and y'all are still cool. Y'all are still cool. You still want to make music with him. People who I call friends are people that I actually look up to and admire their character. I admire the way they hold themselves. I love the way they respect themselves and respect other people, even in disagreements. They're respectful. They're loving. You don't forget that you love each other in those moments. And they're exceptional human beings. I don't get being friends with somebody who's not exceptional. I'm sorry. That Diddy shit is next level fuckery. These men out here, something's wrong with these men. Has anyone else seen the Oprah podcast that was about 2 weeks ago? I watched it and she was talking about, she called it a trend of going no contact with one's family. And so they had people on and they had been like, oh, I've been no contact with my siblings and my parents for 4 years. I've been no contact with my parents for 2 years. This one person, I've been no contact with my entire family. And then there was a mother on and she had actually been no contact with her adult son, I think she said for 2 years. And there's been so much feedback and so much discussion online about this idea of going no contact. How could someone go no contact with their family? How could they do that? And, you know, I listened to it and I thought about my own experience. I am someone who can step away from people very easily. And what that means is if I am in any situation where I'm not safe emotionally or physically, where I'm harmed emotionally or physically, if I'm in an environment that is not supportive, I don't understand being there. I don't believe that there's a trend of people going no contact. I do believe that people now are more emotionally aware and they understand that, yes, in an ideal world, you would raise your children with love and support and raise them in love and not in fear, because if you raise them in fear, that doesn't build respect, but raising them in love does. And that those children grow up and they want to have a relationship with you. And yes, in an ideal world, you are best friends with your brother or best friends with your sister and good friends with your cousins. That's ideal. But that's not the world that we live in. And having boundaries. You cannot teach people that they should have boundaries with everybody but you. Oh, you should have boundaries with people you date, and you should have boundaries with your boss, and you should have boundaries with everyone, but don't have boundaries with your cousin. Don't have boundaries with your sister. And definitely don't have boundaries with your mother and father. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, which means that the bonds you make with people, right? What you bond with, the bond of respect, the bond of love and support, all of those things are thicker. They're more important than the water of the womb, which is what connects you to your relatives. It's a sort of cultural brainwashing that we have that people who are related to you should mean more. What means more are the people who love and support you. And if they are your relatives, then by all means, you stick by them. You cleave to them, because in a world where there can be a lot of loneliness, why would you pull away from that? But if you can't find love, support, respect, and all of that with the water of the womb, seek out the blood of the covenant. And I'm not saying that people should go no contact with their families. I am saying that people should have strong boundaries with everybody, including their families. When I was listening to some of the people on that show talk about no contact, I think that a lot of people do not know how to communicate. I think the ability to communicate clearly and honestly is one of the most important skills in life because it can stop a lot of bullshit, but people don't know how to communicate. Oh, they can communicate behind your back. They can do that. They can also communicate in anger. They can do that, but a lot of people do not know how to say, you said this. And when you said this, that crossed the line with me. I don't understand why you said this. I'd like to hear your side of the story. But what you said is not acceptable for me in my life. Even though you are my sister, that's not acceptable for me. And I would like to work on this relationship, but we're not going to have a relationship unless at the crux of it is respect. People don't know how to talk. They don't know how to talk. They get defensive. They don't know how to apologize. I'll give you a perfect example, and this has nothing to do with family. But recently, someone who I had never had like any sort of issue with ever in life. Let's be clear. I never have a problem with my friends. I have beautiful friendships where we discuss things openly, honestly, with love and respect. Love is trying to understand. Love is trying not to offend. Love is saying, I am here. And if I hurt you, I want to do better. Like that is what love is. That love is not perfect. However, there is someone who I wouldn't call her a friend, but we have known each other about 7 years or so, have always had a very kind relationship, have always had a supportive relationship. I certainly have been extremely supportive. And in general, my thoughts were this person is a cool person and we are friendly. And recently, this person really crossed a boundary with me in terms of how she expressed herself. I won't go into it, but basically, the bitch lost her mind. She lost her mind and said some things. Well, then she came back hours later with, I love you. And no matter what, I love you. Hmm? And then she came back again with, I love you. And another, I love you. And I thought that that was so interesting because it's a little bit what I'm talking about. You don't get to disrespect someone and cross a boundary and then want to wrap that up nice and neatly with an I love you, which is often what toxic families do or dysfunctional families do. They want to have the fight and then, okay, I love you and let's move forward. Never in that was there an apology. But that's what I'm talking about. Lack of understanding how to talk to people is a big problem in families, but it's also just a big problem in life in general. That kind of thing happens all the time in families where people take disrespect and they take it because they feel like that goes along with the role of sister or cousin or daughter. I don't have respect for roles. I have respect for relationships. You don't get love from me. You don't get time from me. You don't get care from me simply based on your role in my life. You get it based on the relationship that we share. How do we treat each other? Do you think of me like I think of you? Historically, people have focused on roles because people relied upon each other, especially in big families, right? They relied upon each other on the farm or they relied upon each other in the communities. But now we're at a time in society where people understand that that reliance is sometimes anchoring them to a point where they cannot spiritually and emotionally grow. And so people are choosing to grow. I just thought that that was just a really interesting podcast. If you haven't seen it, check it out and really check out the comments. I think some of the people who have gone no contact from their family, some of them have really great reasons for doing so. And then some of them, I feel like they're going no contact simply because they don't know how to communicate or they have a fear of communicating. And therefore, they feel like if I run from this situation, then I don't have to deal with it again. But having boundaries is not just something that you can run away from and feel. It's something that you have to stand in. I mean, people aren't perfect. People aren't perfect and they don't have to be. I don't require perfection, but I do require goodness. I cannot believe that it is almost Christmas. I don't know if you guys are buying a lot this year. I want to remind you that wherever you shop, if you are shopping, to not shop at Target. We still are boycotting Target. Someone told me recently, I forgot about the boycott. What? How are you forgetting about the boycott? Speaking of Target, though, you motherfuckers that went out to Target and stayed in line for hours to get a so-called swag bag, and what you got was a handful of fucking samples. You got what the fuck you deserved. You got what you deserved if you went to Target and waited for that swag bag and didn't get shit but disappointment. That's what you get. Target has played in your faces, okay? Congratulations to Target. Because let me tell you something, if you can find a fool, stick with that fool, Target. And you fools got out there in the cold to get a huge empty ass bag with nothings in it. Things that didn't cost them a damn thing. We told you these corporations weren't shit. We told you you need to keep your ass out of Target because Target doesn't give a damn about you. And the one black lady I saw online, I did see a black woman online. She was like, I got this and I got this. See, Harriet would have left your ass behind because your black ass had no business in Target. I'm glad, okay? I am glad that you were disappointed. And I hope whatever in that bag gives you a rash. I hope you have a rash. I hope you get gas. I hope you have a bad taste in your mouth that never goes away because your ass shouldn't have been in Target in the first place. America, y'all, America is why I stay home. Really, America is why I stay home. The last thing I want to touch on today, I'm going to end this on a light note, is have y'all had the Trader Joe's cornbread crisp? Listen, if you have not had the Trader Joe's cornbread crisp, then you have missed on one of the things essential to a good life. There is no snack that I have ever had that gives me such satisfaction as that damn cornbread crisp. I don't know if they still even have it in the stores. When I called, I think they said they were getting another delivery of them. Listen, if they have it in your area, go now, buy them all. Don't leave one bag on the shelf because you will regret it. It is the crunch, the flavor of cornbread. It's even hard to describe. I went into Trader Joe's because I'd seen it on social media. Everybody was losing their goddamn minds about this snack. And I was like, okay, let me grab the snack. So I went inside Trader Joe's, got my bag of cornbread crisps, took my happy black ass to the car. When I got in the car, I opened the bag. I took one of the crisps out. I placed it in my mouth. I chewed it. I'm telling you, before the first swallow, I was on the cusp of an orgasm. You all, I swallowed that crisp. I took my ass back in Trader Joe's and I bought 7 bags. Then I brought the bags home and then I thought about it. It was like, oh my God, I have to have more. I have to have more because you see, I cannot be without them. I don't know when they're going away. All I know is that I cannot now live a life without them. They are the best snack I have ever had. Y'all, check out those damn cornbread crisps from Trader Joe's. Cornbread crisps are the best thing going. I'm telling you, it's the best thing going. And on that note, Thank you for listening to the Rich Spinster podcast. You can listen to the podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts and watch the podcast video on YouTube. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and I will talk to you soon.